Welcome back. All right, so some news of the day for all you fine people for your Tuesday, January the 17th. We'll start off talking about the All-Star vote, or as I've been calling it, Spam the Vote. Remember when Rory Fitzpatrick, when Canuck fans thought, hey, vote for Rory, and we thought that was a really good idea, and the NHL said no. And there was always a belief that they stepped in at the last minute and changed the voting numbers, because they used to show us the voting numbers. Remember when they used to do that? They don't show us the voting numbers anymore. So you've got a system now where people are just spamming their favorite team, which really shouldn't be how the All-Star game works. So, on some level, I'm kind of rooting for the additions to be from teams and to be players that we look at and go, wait, they got in over those people? I kind of want to see, like, just everything on fire after. But we don't know. So we don't know if the NHL is going to change it. We're not going to know at the end whether or not it's actually who people voted for or not. Or if the NHL steps in and goes, well, we won't count those, and we'll count those. And again, it goes back to the Rory situation. And there was, of course, John Scott. NHL fans decided, hey, we should get him in there. And the NHL did everything they could to keep him out of the All-Star game. So the NHL has a very different view for how this should work than I think it should. I think you should just have basically an agreement. I don't care if it's between coaches. I don't care if it's between players about who belongs in the All-Star game. But the spam the vote thing is just, it's obnoxious because it's been everywhere. Remember, I watch all these broadcasts and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's more of this. Don't forget, you can vote. Don't forget, go vote. Don't forget, get all your favorite Panthers. Don't forget, get all your favorite Canes. We're going to get all the Sens. Anyways, it just, if you want the All-Star game to have integrity because you don't want John Scott in it, you want the All-Star game to have integrity, you don't want Rory Fitzpatrick in it, fine. But then telling people, hey, you can vote 20 times a day, yeah, so that adds to the integrity of it. I do not understand the National Hockey League. I don't. And again, of course, you can only vote for specific people. Yeah, you can vote for these guys. Just these guys. But you can spam it as much as you want. So that way the result's stupid too, right? So it just, anyways. So I wanted to throw that out there because it's been irritating me and I'm glad it's coming to an end. Because it has been irritating me every time it comes on. The funny thing is, I often see the comments about, I wish we could watch like a live stream of you watching the games. The actual hockey isn't the stuff that I talk during. It's usually the commercials that I'm sick of. Nobody said skip, Katie. Nobody. And just little things irritate me. Or certain announcers, you'd hear me saying, yeah, I know. It's not a penalty because it's, right, yeah. Oh, that's definitely a penalty because, and it depends on the team, right? Because there are announcers that work that way. That every time that there's a penalty called against the team that they're broadcasting for, they're like, oh, come on, that's not a penalty. Yes, it is. Stop it. Anyways, so that being said, we will move into the other news of the day. I almost did a rant video. I was like, I could almost do, no, I'm not going to do a rant video. I'm just going to, this is the start of the news of the day, and now we'll get into the rest of the news of the day, starting with Toronto. Holmberg and Sandin are out for today's game. McMahon is back. He's been out with illness. The Leafs are not asking Bunting to make any changes to the way that he plays, even though he's not drawing penalties anymore. So it's interesting to me that wasn't Bunting early in the season the guy who was drawing the most penalties. So do referees pay attention to that list? Do referees look at the guys who are drawing the most penalties and then say, maybe we should start looking at this guy? We know they have lists. We know they talk to each other. There's nothing wrong with referees talking to one another. So if I'm a referee and in a game a guy kind of embellishes for a call and I give it to him, after the game I might see the footage and go, wow, I didn't see that in real time, the way that it happened, and that was a mistake. So then I talk to another referee and I say, keep an eye on this player because he kind of embellishes a little bit, so keep an eye on that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's when don't you dare give him calls. That's where there'd be a problem. But the Leafs not wanting him to change his game, which is good because I don't think that you can take that out of Bunting's game. I don't think you can change the way he plays hockey. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things go for him in the second half of the season. Montreal, some injuries here. Armia, sadly, he was just starting to get the offense going. He was starting to play some of the best hockey he has in a while. He's on the IR. Evans is on the IR, and Slavkovsky has been added as well. So for Montreal, that's 3 forwards out of their lineup. They've called up Harvey Pinard as well as Rem Pitlick. Now, Rem Pitlick, a player I like. Clearly, there's some major defensive deficiencies there because he has no problem clearing waivers. But on the offensive side, he's got some skill there. So we'll see how things go for him with Montreal. Could be starting tonight, right? So they're playing against Winnipeg. Should be an interesting game. It's a shame about Armia, though, because like I said, he's been playing some of his best hockey lately. So the Ottawa Senators, the sale seems to be getting closer, so there's going to be a discussion of what this is worth and what all the books look like with people who are interested. So you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement before you can see the numbers behind the Ottawa Senators. The asking price is expected to be between $800 million and $1 billion. They were recently valued at, I think it was $635 million by one of the sports valuation sites. But yeah, $800 million to $1 billion, it sounds about right. If I was an owner, I might step in and say, do I get the LeBreton Flats building with this $1 billion I'm giving? No, we still gotta, okay, all right, fine. But also Ryan Reynolds meeting with the NHL as recently as last week. They clearly want Ryan Reynolds to be part of the ownership team, and I don't see any reason why it won't work that way. It sounds like that all of these bids are going to be from more than one person. It's going to be groups in some cases. And so it should be interesting to see who ends up getting it. The NHL wants to have some control over this. Obviously, they don't want us to have somebody come in who says, I'm from Houston. I got $2 billion. Here you go. And the Houston Senators are bored. They don't want to see that. So they want to have some control over all this process. And there are certain hoops you have to jump through in order to own the team. But I don't expect this sale to have any problem going through. I've mentioned in previous videos that NHL teams are seen as really good investments. The National Hockey League, the teams themselves, their valuations are seen as much more attractive for investment than other professional leagues in North America, where some of the valuations are kind of too high and overvalued. At least that's the idea, that what you're getting, the value you're getting for what you're buying, is much better with a National Hockey League team. So there should be no shortage of buyers. And I don't think they're going to have a problem getting $1 billion for it. Chris Letang, good news for Pittsburgh fans. He has returned. He's in a non-contact jersey, skating before practice. He's been moved to the injured reserve. I don't think there's anything to see there. I think they're just, it's retroactive to December 28th. So he can come off the IR anytime. And so this just means that when he's ready, then they'll just put him back on the active roster. So Letang is back with them, and that's good news for Pittsburgh, right? Letang is on the road to return. So I wanted to talk about this because I honestly, when the Robin Leonard bankruptcy thing came out, I didn't throw it into a news video because I didn't feel like it was definitely as interesting as other people seem to find it. And I understand that the interest here is simple. So he owes $50 million in debt. So him and his wife filing for bankruptcy. His father's name is on these loans as well. And it just looks like they overexceeded their means, and this can happen. So he has $50 million in debt. Cites his holdings as being worth, basically he feels he's worth between, I think, $1 and $20 million. Their house they bought for $2.8 million in Summerlin, which, I mean, sounds like a ton, but Summerlin's right next to Las Vegas. I would imagine those are very expensive homes. It's a big house, 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. So, I mean, there's that. But it's owed to no fewer than 50 people or companies. And it sounds like he was starting a business or has a business. And of course, everybody's focusing on the exotic snakes. Well, the exotic snakes that people are focusing on, that's only $1.2 million is what those are worth. And he got those in 2017. This is $50 million in debt. So it goes further than that. And there aren't really details on where that debt is, other than he's borrowed in numerous states. And it's to me, it kind of sounds like you're borrowing $2 million to bail yourself out of this. I can't pay back that $2 million. I got to borrow more money to pay off that. That's how it sounds to me, anyways, when you're borrowing from multiple companies in multiple states. And so there really isn't a whole lot of details with this. Again, people just latch onto the snakes. People just go, hey, he's got exotic snakes. Yeah, we know. That's been a known thing for years with Robin Lehner. He's different. He's a goaltender. Goaltenders are different people, and so there's just not a whole lot that's there, other than he owes a lot of money and they're in bankruptcy, and the entirety of his contract would not pay for that because there's taxes come off of that. There's escrow comes off of that. So his $5 million a year for 5 years. He's in the second year of that deal. I believe it's second or third year of that deal, and it's not going to pay that off either. So you have to file for bankruptcy when you can't pay your debts. And the same company that's going after him is the same one that went after Evander Kane, which I'm not entirely surprised by. Once you get to a certain amount, I would imagine there are certain collection agencies you go to, because things have to be a little more aggressive when you're dealing in the millions. But at any rate, there you go. News of the day for all you fine people. Let me know your thought regarding the spamming of the vote and whether or not you've spammed it. I haven't bothered. Again, I don't trust the NHL's numbers at all. I don't. I expect that at the end they'll go, and here's who won, and it'll be three guys who absolutely deserve to be there and may not have gotten the popular vote necessarily. I think that if you're voting for players that you're like, oh, these guys don't necessarily belong there, but let's just turn the numbers around. If the NHL saw something like that, I think they would probably stop it. They've stopped it twice. They stomped our fun. Vote for Rory was like one of the funnest things because it was this grassroots thing that just blew up, and then the NHL went, well, that looks fun. I think I stomped it out. There we go. Good. Okay, guys, enjoy the All-Star game. What's John Scott? Why do these things keep popping up? We have to stop the fans from having fun with this. Well, we'll just give them a few names, and that'll be it. And then they'll feel like they have control. But anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.